is the same. And that means that I need you to make sure that you are protecting your brand, right? So when I'm talking image and when I'm talking branding, that is not just your physical aesthetic in person, but it is also how you are managing your online presence. Because there was a time when you were interviewed that it was old school, that they were looking at a piece of paper that had your resume on it as they sat in front of you and interviewed you. But now they are Googling you. They are checking your social media, right? So that Twitter beef that you had with somebody else on the yard, no, that wasn't just between the two of you. But those three letters, WWW, stands for the World Wide Web. So these aren't private sidebar conversations that you're having. So you got to be careful to manage your social media presence because that is a part of your image. And you don't want to be in a situation where you shoot yourself in the foot and you've put something online that ends up working against you, right? So I know for the weekend, you like to turn up and have a good time. But ladies and gentlemen, young people, hear me. Everything is not for public consumption. Let me say that again. Everything is not for public consumption. Because the challenge is everything you do, everybody doesn't need to see. There are some things that need to remain private. So in certain situations, you got to say, oh, I'm going to need you to put that camera down. Oh, no, I don't need you taking pictures right now. No, put that camera up. Like, you got to tell the people that you hanging with, that you spending time with, you at that party with, oh, no, don't take my picture right now. Because we're having a good time, but I don't need everybody seeing what's going on. So I need you to manage the pictures that you post and manage the pictures that other people post about you. Because you don't want to be in a situation where those pictures, take me to my next slide, where those pictures come back to haunt you later on. And the person that's considering paying you to be a brand influencer, they're like, your brand doesn't line up with the brand of this company. Your image, so on the internet doesn't line up with it's a conflict with the vision and the focus of this particular company. So we're not going to be able to hire you, right? So you want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence and you are protecting your brand. Let's go. This is very important to me because I during college, you're trying to figure this whole thing out, right? You're trying to figure your life out. You're trying to figure out who you are and your mark and your place in the world. But I want to tell you, hear me, own your uniqueness. There is something unique about you that you bring to the table that's not there until you arrive. Own your uniqueness. Thank you. Because if you're not careful reading blogs, watching people's posts online, all this stuff, it will have you doing all of this changing to become somebody else you're not. But you are fearfully and wonderfully made just as you are. I'm not telling you what I've read, I'm telling you what I've lived. I've been tall for a long time. And there was a time in my life where I just wanted to fit in. I didn't want to stand out. And even subconsciously, even without realizing it, my shoulders were being shrugged. My shoulders were down, and I was walking hunched over because I didn't like towering over other people. I never forget, I went to gym class one day. There was a short Philippine gym instructor, and she was like, young man, I need you to stand up and own your height. It's beautiful to be tall. And I'm looking at this little lady like, you would say that because you're vertically challenged, but what she said stuck with me. Because it was true. When God made me 6'7", he didn't make a mistake. And when God made you, he didn't make a mistake either. And that's what I appreciate about Michael Strahan. You would think after he got in the league, you would think after he started doing well for himself, the first thing that he would do would be to close his gap. But he said, nah, this is my uniqueness, and I'm gonna keep my gap. Chantel, I don't know whether you watch America's Next Top Model. I got an American Next Top Model fan. Me too. We watch it all the time. Me and my wife watch it all the time. But you would think that she would be the last person to be a candidate to be America's Next Top Model. And the truth is, if some of us had the condition that she had, we would be home depressed. But this girl comes out like a boss. And she owned her uniqueness and is doing extremely well as a model. Own your uniqueness and stop trying to fit in to be just like everybody else. Because the truth is, kings and queens, hear me. People admire your Superman, but they relate to your Clark Kent. Because people are going to walk around and they're going to see your tiara. They're going to see your beautiful hair. They're going to see your lashes. They're going to see your suit and tie. And they're going to be like, oh my God, she's beautiful. Oh my God, I wish I could be like her. Oh my God, he's dope. Man, one day I hope I could be like him. They admire your Superman. But they relate to your Clark Kent. They relate to the real you, because the real you is when we take off this cape, there's a Clark Kent that we all live every day. And that's the part that people need to see. Not just our touched up pictures on the gram, not just our filters, but they need to know that we're real and that we have struggles and that life is not about perfection. Hear me. Life is not about perfection, but life is about progress. That I'm not perfect, but every day that God gives me is a day for me to get better, for me to improve, for me to advance, for me to try again, for me to take another shot at getting it right. And it's okay, because even with my flaws, God loves me. Even with my flaws, I can make a difference. Even with things not being so perfect in my life is still worth living. So make sure people see your Clark Kent as well. I'm going to quickly give you the ABCs of image, and I'm out your way, because we have this dynamic speaker that's coming up behind me. Let's go. Hit me one more time. Hit me one more time. All right, cool. So, ladies, beautiful, gorgeous, incredible ladies, there is a difference in what you wear to the club and what you wear in professional settings. And although we love Beyonce and Homecoming and we went crazy and she looked great, you know, oftentimes young people see what's worn on stage and we're like, oh, oh man. I said, oh, wow. You know, yeah, I like that. But when it comes to professional settings, how many of you know some of that attire is not appropriate? So what I need you to do, I want to encourage you to, at this age and stage, it's time to diversify your wardrobe, right? So it's nothing wrong with having some blinged out, wild, fabulous outfit. It's nothing wrong with really super high stiletto heels and all of that. That's great. But what I am saying is, along with those beautiful things in your wardrobe, you also need some professional attire. Hit me one more time. Right? So you need to start investing in business suits, right? So let me at least add another, modest, outfit that if I'm in a professional setting, if I have to represent the university, if I have to speak, if I have to go on an interview, I don't have to scramble for something to wear or borrow something from my roommate, that I have something in my closet that I can wear that would represent the best of who I am professionally. And so, ladies, I want to encourage you to start investing in those things now, right? And modesty is key. I'm not saying that you got to look homely, but what I am saying is modesty is key, right? So if we're on an interview, we're not wearing door knocker earrings, right? We're not wearing an earring in my nose, my ear, my tongue, my lip, my everything, like something. Listen, let me say it this way. Do your research. Whatever company that you're interested in working for, do your research. right? Because young people ask me all the time, well, Dr. Ellis, is it appropriate for me to have locks? Is it appropriate for me to have extra earrings? Is it appropriate for me to color my hair? It depends on what company or what industry you're going into. So if you're going into music, if you're going into the arts, then those areas, those fields are a little less conservative, right? So they don't mind you having red tips on your hair. They don't mind you having colorful fingernails. But if you're going into banking, if you're going into law, if you're going into finance and some of those more conservative professions, then you might need to tone things down a bit. So before you take advantage of those corporate opportunities, make sure you do the research. Let's go. Gentlemen, I don't want to leave you out. Gentlemen, I want to encourage you to own a suit. Every distinguished gentleman needs to have a suit in his closet. Now, hear me. I'm not just talking about a jacket and some pants, a blue jacket and some blue pants. No, I'm talking about a suit that you buy together, made of the same material. Gentlemen, invest. Before you get another pair of Jordans, let me encourage you to invest because, again, like I said, you're not dressing for where you are, but you're dressing for where you're going, right? And those suits, when we're starting to build the foundation of your wardrobe, start with the basics, your grays, your navy blues, your blacks, right? I love your school colors, but notice I didn't have purple on this list. Notice we didn't have orange on this list. We want you to look like a professional gentleman that is ready to advance in life. Let's go. Okay, so example of poorly fitted versus a fitted suit, right? So gentlemen, you don't want to have so much fabric underneath the heel of your shoe. If you buy a suit or if you buy some slacks, take them to a local tailor, take them to a local cleaners and get them altered, get them tailored, right? So that they are making sure that the jacket, that those pants fit you perfectly. Now, let me also put a plug in here too. I know that we're wearing, very fitted clothes now, a lot more than before, but also be careful because most of us in the room are men of color. So be careful not to go super fitted, right? Because then that can be challenging. I see somebody clapping in the back. That can be challenging as well, but make sure that your clothing is tailored to fit you and fit you well. Notice when his tie is tied, take me back one more time. When his tie meets his belt, right? Your tie is not super long, and when you go to the restroom, you cutting your tie in half, or that is super short, like a little midget hanging around your neck. No, but when your tie is properly tied, your tie meets your waist. His belt matches his shoes, right? You don't want to have on a gray belt and black shoes, or burgundy shoes and a blue belt, that your shoes and your belt complement each other. Okay, let's go. I got 3 more slides and I'm done. Take advantage, students, hear me, take advantage of this unique opportunity to grow as a leader. College is about you growing academically, but it's also about you growing as a leader. That's why I'm so proud of you all that are here, that are kings and queens, that are taking advantage of an opportunity to lead in your class, but also get involved, right? If you're going to school and just getting an education, like you leaving money on the table, go back, make sure, get involved in organizations on campus, get involved in voter registration, get involved in rallying volunteers, get involved in parliamentary procedures in organizations that you're involved in. Get involved in fraternities and sororities. This is all a training course for leadership beyond college. Because when people are hiring you in the future, they want to know more than you just went to class and got good grades. They also want to know that you have leadership capabilities as well. Leadership is influence. John Maxwell says leadership is influence, and I totally agree with him. As a leader, or as an individual, you have a sphere of influence. I don't care whether it's just the people that live in your quad, just the people that live in your dorm. You have a sphere of influence as a leader. But the question becomes, what will you influence people to do? Will you influence people just to turn up and have a good time? Or will you influence people for change? Will you influence people to make their voice heard, right? And vote? Will you use your influence to raise the image for students on your campus? What will you do with the influence that you have amongst your peers? And I want to encourage you to make sure you use your influence to leave this campus better than you found it the first day you arrived. And finally is this. It's the law of the lid. The law of the lid is simply this. People rise and fall to your level of leadership, right? So as a leader, people are only going to be as good as the person that they're following. No one wants to follow a parked car because the car ain't going nowhere. But as a leader, if let me say it this way. If you're a level on a scale of 10, if you're a level 4 leader, you can never have level 9 followers. Why? Because people are going to pace themselves based on a person that they're leading. So what does that mean? That means if you are a leader, which all of you are, you want to make sure that you keep the bar high. And how do you keep the bar high? You keep the bar high with self-development. You keep the bar high because you're always reading. You keep the bar high because you take advantage of events like the event that's being hosted today. That you're not somewhere sleeping in campus, that you're not somewhere having a next Netflix and chill, but you're in the right place to get the information that you need to elevate your life, because you know when you elevate your life, you automatically elevate the lives of the people that are following you. So I want to encourage you to always be evolving, always be growing, always be learning. You should be reading, and not just reading for class. But there should be other books that you're reading. There should be podcasts that you listen to. There should be people that you are following that are helping you to evolve into the best version of yourself. People that always keep you on your toes. People that keep you pushing. People that keep you striving to become better. Because your future is bright. And we want to make sure that you are leading in an incredible way that not only enhances your life, but all of those that follow you. I am Dr. Alex Ellis. I hope that this session was a blessing to you. It's been my honor to share with you today. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
I think we could do better than that. Let's give it up for Dr. Alex Ellis. All right, so we have an etiquette course, and we've heard about the power of